Boot up. The break has been long with exams, but now that those are in the rear view, LSU basketball back on the floor tonight versus East Tennessee State.
Chip.
Tigers will travel to Los Angeles to play USC on Saturday, then host Liberty on December 29th as Coach Wade, if he knows anything as being a head coach, has had a schedule and knows the formula to get his team to March. These are three really big games coming up for LSU that starts tonight as Coach Wade is talking to us here on this Wednesday morning. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. How did you guys use the break to the advantage? I know with the exams you don't get your guys on the floor as much, but you're still able to get some work done. How was the time off?
Yeah, we got 3 days of work in last week with exams. We worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We were off Monday after we played on Sunday, and then took off Friday and Saturday to rest up, and then got 3 good days of prep in for a really good East Tennessee State team tonight. So we tried to, we looked at our team. We did a self scout on our team during the exam break and figured out where we need to get better to become an elite offensive team. I think we're a very good offensive team, but become elite, and where we need to get better to become a good defensive team. Our defensive numbers are moving in the right direction, but we'll have a huge test tonight. This will be as good an offensive ball club as we've played tonight with East Tennessee State, and so be a big test for us tonight. But I think we've gotten better. I think we've improved. Hopefully we'll be able to be sharp mentally for 40 minutes tonight. This is not one of those games that we can ease into. We're going to need to be ready to go from the beginning and play a complete game and full 40 minutes against a team of this caliber.
Yeah, so ETSU is 9-2 on the year. Then you got USC on Saturday, Liberty, who's undefeated right after that, and then you get into conference play just less than a week after that game. But when it comes to these 3 before conference play, I guess how do you marriage like the math of, okay, this is helpful for the tournament resume, also with just kind of this is the step that we need to get ready for the SEC grind?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. These are great opportunities for us to pick up quality wins before we get into SEC play. So they're very, very important games. They're against very good teams, and the schedule's set up this way purposefully. We needed the front end of our schedule was pretty tough, and we needed some time to recalibrate, which that gave us some time to recalibrate. And the back end of our non-conference schedule is very tough, and so it was set up this way for a purpose. And now we've got to take advantage of the opportunity. I tell people all the time, it's one thing to schedule them, then you got to go win them. And tonight's game's a perfect example of that. It's a very risky game when you schedule it. This is a very, very challenging game, a difficult game. 7 of their top 8 guys are juniors and seniors, and were on their team last year that played for a conference championship, and that's why they're predicted to win the Southern Conference this year. They've got a great team, great coaching staff, and they're just a really, really good program in general. And so, we've got to take advantage of the opportunity tonight and play one of our best games, if not our best game of the year, to beat these guys.
Coach Wade and the Tigers have won 9 straight at home, dating back to last season. Speaking of veteran and upperclassmen, you should get Marlon Taylor back tonight. What's the expectation for him?
Yeah, we're excited. Yesterday in practice, he just reminds you why you need him out there. He got back on defense and blocked a shot in transition and did a couple of things that just, wow, we've been missing that. When you don't have it, sometimes you forget about how good you really had it when you had him out there last year. So, I think he's going to be able to play for us tonight. Now, how long and how effective he'll be, we'll have to see. But I think he'll be able to. Well, I know he's going to be able to play, and we're going to certainly put him in there, and I think he'll be able to help our team, particularly on the defensive end. Some of the timing and rhythm and all that with the offensive stuff is going to be a work in progress here for a couple of weeks, just because he hasn't gotten the amount of practice reps or the number of practice reps that other guys have gotten, and he hasn't done it at game speed in a long time, maybe since our Baylor scrimmage. That was the last time he really played with us. So, we've got some work to do there, but certainly good to have him. And East Tennessee State could play 4 guards tonight. It's very, very important when they play 4 guards that we have somebody like Marlon, and we've got Andre where he's a little more ready now, and we can go out there and match them with their lineups.
The turnover number has been tempered especially going into the break. What do you contribute that to?
Oh, I think it's just the guys getting more used to playing with each other. You know, we've quit throwing some of the cross-court passes, which are more likely to get picked off. You know, we've done a few things schematically, but really I just think it's guys getting used to playing with each other, making the simple play, not trying to do too much, not trying to get too crazy with the ball.
Coach, you have a quote out there talking about after watching ETSU's video, it's night and day how much harder ETSU plays than LSU does, saying that you guys have a lot of talent, but you maybe want a little more on the effort side. Is that accurate? And then how do you go about making that happen?
I was talking about their cutting and spacing on offense.
Okay.
I was talking about. Our guys play pretty hard, but I was talking about. I always wanted to play harder. Don't get me wrong, but I was referring to just how hard they cut, how they're in constant motion on offense. They're always moving. They're screening. They're cutting. They're curling screens and popping the next guy. Like they're in constant motion and constant movement on offense. Whereas we sometimes, when things break down, ETSU keeps moving and they cut hard. When we break down, we just kind of stand and wait for somebody to make a play. And if we could continue to move and cut and exchange and do it, at 3/4 of the speed East Tennessee State does it, we'd be very, very effective.
I can't imagine this offense getting much better, so I'd like to see that. That'd be great.
Early signing period today for football. You had a nice haul in your early recruiting period. What's the recruiting schedule like for you now that you have a couple of guys in the boat?
Well, we still got to get 3 or 4 more. So we're out there. I spent last week after practice on Thursday. We flew out. I went Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Came back Sunday before practice for recruiting. And when we get back from LA, we're going to go out and recruit for a day. And when we come back from Christmas, we'll go out and recruit for a day. So there's a lot of tournaments, a lot of things going on. We'd like to add a couple big guys, a wing, a defensive-minded wing, and then probably another ball handler. So that's the plan here moving forward. We've got our, I think we're in really good shape for 3 guys, and we've got to find another. We got to find another guy. So we'll keep pounding the pavement and working, and my staff's done a good job and got us in good position for some really good players. And I think we're going to have a great recruiting class and be able to continue to stack good classes on top of each other and stack good players on top of each other and have a good program and really good team again next year.
As a Wiro, who you signed in the early period, who's at Oak Hill Academy now, is a California native, you'll have the team out in L.A. this weekend play in Southern California. Does the brand recruit out there? Is LSU relevant out in California where
it's amazing? It's relevant everywhere. I was in Michigan on Saturday, and I was worried about LSU stuff. I had people coming up to me talking football and talking LSU. Everywhere I went, I had people coming up to me and talking about LSU. So, people that don't think football winning and Joe Burrow winning the Heisman and everything it makes, you can't buy that type of publicity for a university, for our state. It's just huge. And so, it makes a huge impact, and everybody's well aware of LSU and thinks of LSU in a very, very positive light, no matter where you go across the country these days.
Talking to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade. And, Coach, I have a philosophical question for you, apropos of nothing and no individual at all. What's your kind of coaching opinion on two-sport athletes? Maybe like specifically a guy that wants to play football and basketball. Like, how do you think you make that successful on the college level?
I think it's good. I think guys that are multi, some of the best guards I've coached have been really good football players. I had a kid at VCU, Jaquan Lewis. He had at the time it was 1AA, but he had offers from Tennessee Martin, Murray State, all that sort of stuff in football, and
Jalen Cook.
He was a tremendous player. We've got Jalen Cook here. We had a kid at Clemson who was at one time was the all-time steals leader in the ACC, and he was a big-time defensive back out of Richmond, Virginia. I know that's not a good topic to bring up this morning, but his name was Vernon Hamilton. He was a really good He went to Benedictine in Richmond, and we got him. And he led the ACC in steals for 2 years, and was a tremendous player. So a lot of those guys, especially if you get a point guard, like those guys just have. Ball instincts are ball instincts. Whether it's going to get the football out of the air, or whether it's going to get a basketball out of the air, like if you got that quick twitch and you've got those instincts, it's it's impressive. And so we've got some guys. I don't know if he signed yet, so I probably can't.
No. We're watching. We are not talking about anyone. We are talking philosophically.
Yeah, there's some guys that are looking to do it, and we're certainly open to trying to make it work.
We want no more recruiting violations around, Coach. We were the halftime entertainment with one of the basketball games.
Yeah,
we want no more trouble. So this has got to be the part of the schedule that you love, right? I mean, no class. I mean, your guys over the next 6 weeks are just pretty much basketball players.
Yeah, we've got to get a lot better. We got to get a lot better individually. We got to get a lot better as a team. This is a huge time for us to take a big step forward and to get some momentum and to build some momentum and to start building towards what we want to be as a team. This is the first time really since the summer that we have them without class, without a bunch of other meetings and appointments and all sorts of other things going on. We have them where they're locked in with basketball. We can really narrow their focus into their own game and to basketball, and hopefully we can take off.
Boot up. Coach Will Wade, the Tigers back on the floor tonight. 6 o'clock tip-off inside the Maravich Center. You can catch it on Eagle 98.1. But tip at 6 o'clock over there with East Tennessee State in town this weekend. Coach Wade and the Tigers back on the floor. Thank you, man. We'll see you.